I wouldn't want somebody during EDA, like somebody like one of my staff to come back with like a regression model or something like that. That's too much at this stage, right? I just want to know what's possible. I mean, that's really kind of like the goal, right? So I don't want to say you're off the mark there, Abdul, but it's a little much, right? Like modeling and errors and fitting things, that's not really at play here, right? It's just more about bringing in other items that you think could be correlated. Or some of you brought up like domain knowledge, right? Like some of you said, well, hey, 2016, I think it was 2016 or 2013, was a demonetization in India. Okay, well, great. Yeah, start bringing stuff like that in, right? Like, it's good to make notes of those things, but like to actually start fitting and getting metrics, not yet. Not yet. We're a little early for that, right? Yassine says maybe we can look at monthly data and see what months contributed the most unusual spikes. Yeah, absolutely, Yassine. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning earlier, right? If we can get quarterly data, right, you would see that 2020 was really just the first 2 quarters. It wasn't the whole year, right? It was just the first 2 quarters. And more specifically, was really like what, like March, April, May that were bad, right? So that's actually the end of Q1, right? So yeah, that would definitely smooth things out. So you're on the right track there, right? But again, you'd never know until you ask for more data. And sometimes maybe there isn't that data, right? Like I said, maybe the data doesn't exist, or maybe the DBA just got lazy and didn't pull it for you. You gotta ask. These are those conversations you gotta have with your stakeholders, right? So Steele says, how about we get the whole South Asian market data like Voldemort says? Maybe there could be a consistent behavior in the region or not. Yeah, sure. You could do the region. You could do like, country by country matchups. You could do a lot of things, right? Like for me, like I would want to compare to Thailand because I know that gold is popular for consumers in India, but I know it's also popular in Thailand. So how do those 2 consumer bases line up, right? So, a mini hypothesis would be that give me a second. So you could say that a mini hypothesis would be that your Thailand chart is going to look similar to this, right? Like, why wouldn't it? Let's find out, right? You can prove that. And if there is a difference, and say, okay, well, what's different about, the Thai consumer versus the Indian consumer, right? Like, yeah, that's interesting to do that, to look at those correlations. So I'm glad, I like where you're going with that, right? Because this is all of you in your minds working of where you can go next. But again, the purpose is not the gold market here. The purpose is take this framework and carry it forward into your own work, right? I'm trying to kind of keep us reined in here, right? So that we don't get too crazy with the gold data. The purpose is to, look at the greater framework, right? The meta view, as I like to say. Casual Economist says, OLS, we use that in econometrics. That's the only thing I understand today. What? That's not true. That's not true. You're a smart guy. You're smart. You know what we're talking about today. And plus, gold is universal, right? That's why I chose it. Everybody has some association or some feelings about gold, right? Like everybody does. So I mean, you understood today. You're playing possum over there. but good to see you there, Casual Economist. All right, guys. So any other closing thoughts before we close off here? But I think this has been a really great session. Again, I really hope that you're able to carry this forward into your own work. And also you can understand some of my rationale as far as the process, and when I ask all of you questions, when I give you pushback on some of these items. But I think it's been a great session. Toba Tech says, please use translation options should be started to understand your videos in other languages. Which languages? I'm open to that. Which languages would you guys like? Let me know. I do speak Spanish, and I have considered doing videos in Spanish, but that's really tiring. That's really tiring for me to think about data science and in Spanish. That's exhausting. Steele says, love the live stream, first time watching it and already a great time. Well, good. Keep on coming back. Keep on coming back. My whole goal here is just to give you guys the best real world information I can, you know, and I really think that nobody else is doing that because they can't, because, you know, they're just trying to sell you junk, right? And that's not me. But if you do want to support me, please check out my book on Amazon, Your First Year in Data Science. You know, I don't sell cheap courses. I don't have a Patreon. Best way to support me, if you'd like, is to buy my book on Amazon. I appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just trying to put out the best content I can. And, you know, if you do that, everything else will take care of itself, right? So Abdul says, thank you so much for this wonderful session. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Just like I said, guys, keep on coming back. I'm trying to put out good content. And Abdul says, I've already bought the book. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, that book is kind of like part of my overall legacy, so I'm really proud of it. But I want to thank all of you because, you know, you guys also make the stream great with the feedback and things like that. Really great questions today. So take this, carry it forward, not just for jobs, but to become a data professional, right? Because that's really what I'm trying to do here, right? I'm trying to create the next generation of data professionals. Lots of craziness happening in the world. So please take care of yourselves, take care of your families, and I'll see you guys next time.